Ja Rule is one of the music industry's greatest enigmas. Born Jeffrey Atkins, the rapper has sold millions of records and has earned millions through his music, reality TV series, Follow the Rules, and 2013 memoir, Unruly, The Highs and Lows of Becoming a Man, among his many other business ventures. Grand Theft Auto is one of the most successful video game franchises. He's also the guy who made this gyro commercial. Ever. For a certain generation of hip-hop fans, Ja Rule has, perhaps unfairly, turned into somewhat of a laughingstock. Released in 2013, GTA 5 has not only outsold every individual Mario title, but has netted higher sales figures than any movie in history. This is no small feat for Rockstar, given the fifth installment in the franchise has also outperformed all previous Grand Theft Auto titles by a landslide. GTA 5 remains a smash hit, even years later. Despite this, if you look back at Grand Theft Auto 5 since its launch, you will find plenty of issues, bugs, and downright questionable decisions on Rockstar's part. From a buggy online mode to subpar control mechanics and benevolent gestures gone wrong, gamers have been willing to overlook a lot while playing this revered title. His once celebrated style of singing his own hooks became a point of contention for many listeners in the early 2000s. Years later, that style of music dominates the charts, and it's no stretch to consider Ja Rule one of the forefathers of contemporary singing rap. Despite his successes and achievements, Ja Rule's career has been anything but smooth sailing. But they're not letting the company off the hook completely. Here are the worst decisions Rockstar made for Grand Theft Auto 5. Raking in the microtransactions. Though many gamers may not love microtransactions, the numbers don't lie. According to an IGN interview with Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick, recurrent consumer spending made up 42% of the company's earnings in the quarter preceding the article. With nearly half of the revenue coming in from such a business model, it's difficult to avoid the practice entirely. Microtransactions have changed the Grand Theft Auto series, and will likely have an effect on what GTA 6 will look like upon its release. While microtransactions may be great for video game companies, they are not ideal for gamers. In fact, his lows probably even surpass his many highs. The practice opens the door for publishers to release a title that feels incomplete, doling out additional features to eager players who want a better experience. From the musician's legal problems and epic scandals to his historic hip-hop beefs, Ja Rule has been caught up in a whirlwind of bad press over the years. Tune in as we piece together the most sordid details of his life and career, by painting a picture of the shady side of Ja Rule. Ja Rule sold drugs to family friends. Selling drugs is sometimes considered a means of success and survival for many, and celebrating that lifestyle is deeply ingrained in hip-hop culture. Growing up in Hollis, Queens, Ja Rule began to emulate the local drug dealers at a young age. Those are the first, successful figures you see when you come from the hood, the rapper said while speaking about drug dealers in a 2014 Vlad TV interview. FOMO, fear of missing out, can pressure consumers to spend money on something like a skin or another element that may not add much to the experience otherwise. Microtransactions also give companies an opportunity to strip away components from a game and then later release them as paid content. As the Grand Theft Auto series continues to lean on microtransactions for revenue, gamers will likely have to grin and bear it. Overlooking the shooting mechanics, the Grand Theft Auto games give you the opportunity to play as a bad guy. And as a bad guy, you get to do all of the things you can't do in real life. Steal cars, pull off heists, get into fistfights, and shoot guns. That's your first sight of what success is, and you figure out how to obtain that success, and the easiest way is to grab a pack and go out on the block or whatever. He revealed that he first got into drug dealing around the age of 12 or 13, explaining that he was inevitably forced into hustling to help him and his mother stay afloat. The occupation led to some awkward relationships for a young Ja Rule, as he remembers selling to the parents of his friends. And being such a prominent feature, you would think, or hope, at least, Rockstar would nail the shooting mechanics. Dudes that was close to us, their parents was on the S***T, Ja Rule said. But sadly, that is far from the case. Offering 3 different aiming modes, it's almost comical that Rockstar has managed to botch each one. When playing in free aim mode, you are plagued by an inconsistent and inaccurate reticle for aiming your weapon, sluggish movements, and a counterintuitive interface.
You also have two different forms of aim assist, both of which automatically take control of your gun and lock onto your target so you don't have to. Sisters and brothers, and we used to sell to them, too. The problem with this feature is it makes shooting too easy, downing your enemies with a simple press of a button. You know, our motto was, if they ain't gonna get it from us, they would get it from somebody else. Such a means of gunplay is very unsatisfying and can undermine your overall experience. Unfortunately, when it comes to shooting in Grand Theft Auto V, either your porridge is too hot or it's too cold. So, when I look back on those times and situations, I was like, that was like some crazy ***t to do, sell to your man's moms. Ja Rule's beef with 50 Cent begins before they were trading lyrical shots on the industry's biggest stages. Ja Rule and 50 Cent were just two rappers coming up from nearby neighborhoods in Queens, NY. There is no, just right. Economy design and in-game inflation money plays an important role in GTA Online. It's essential if you want to customize, buy items like vehicles, and take part in all the fun the world has to offer. And unfortunately, data confirms that prices are going up while payouts are failing to keep up. According to 50, their longtime feud initially started when Ya saw him with the guy who stole his chain. Much like in the real world. To make matters worse, there's a theory floating around that this in-game inflation has been a nefarious plot by Rockstar to crash the economy in GTA Online so it can make way for Grand Theft Auto 6. However, Ja Rule denied this claim, suggesting instead that the beef began when 50 Cent supposedly felt slighted after being left out of the "Murda for Life" video shoot in 1999. 50 alleged to XXL that he did stop by that video shoot to confront Ya, but was pulled aside by legendary gangster and drug kingpin Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who apparently told him, "Leave them alone, man. You know they ain't gonna do nothing." But the young rapper didn't listen. While this is just speculation, the inflation in GTA Online is still a major problem. It makes sense for Rockstar to maintain the challenge in purchasing new items, incentivizing players to keep coming back, but there has to be some kind of balance. Black Child, one of Ja Rule's collaborators, remembers their nemesis showing up that day, telling Vlad TV, "I guess he feel like Ya ain't roll out the red carpet for him. He went back to the hood and wrote a song." That song was, "Your Life's on the Line," in which 50 Cent appears to mock Ja Rule's "Murda" chant. While new updates have made it easier to make quick cash, prices are so prohibitive that players can't keep up. Waiting almost 6 years to add the casino after a long day of heists and robberies, there's nothing like spending an evening gambling all your spoils away. In another song created during that time, Ghetto Quran, 50 revealed some information about Supreme's past illegal activity. At least after July 23, 2019. The following year, the rapper was shot 9 times, and Supreme was investigated for allegedly plotting his death. You read that right. While the two feuds may appear unconnected, Ja Rule later claimed to Hot 97 that 50 Cent told investigators that there was a link. Ja Rule, 50 Cent, and the Atlanta fight a couple of months before the infamous 2000 shooting. Both Ja Rule and 50 Cent were set to perform in Atlanta. All parties involved remember a conversation taking place between the two rappers that turned into a fight after mutual friend Chaz Slim Williams convinced them to talk, but the other details differ. Williams, a respected New Yorker and mediator of that meeting, claimed Ya came to speak to 50 with a baseball bat in his hand. After he gestured with the bat, 50 Cent reportedly took a swing at him and a scuffle broke out. It was nearly 6 years after Grand Theft Auto V launched before its user base experienced the long-awaited Diamond Casino and Resort, where players can engage in card games, slots, horse racing, and more. This wasn't just dropped out of nowhere. While Williams alleged that no one was hurt in the fight, Ja Rule had a different story. "The talk got heated because I got mad and I started screaming at him and telling him that he was a B****ch," Ya claimed on Hot 97. Fans of the series have been anticipating a casino since GTA V launched. So, why the long wait? Data mining efforts have revealed plans as early as 2013 to add a casino to the game, and in 2014 it seemed to tie into a potential single-player DLC story pack. However, with the success of GTA Online, single-player expansions were dropped, causing further delay to this legendary location. Much of the content from those scrapped DLC packs have since been released through a series of updates, leading to the opening of the Diamond Casino and Resort. While there were also legal hurdles to overcome with regards to online gambling, developers were finally able to figure out how to make it work. So he swings at me. But that doesn't mean players forgive Rockstar for making them wait so long. Launching GTA Online before it was ready. GTA Online is known for its plethora of bugs and glitches. He caught me a little bit, but I dipped it and then hit him with the bat, poom. So, now we start tussling. Ja Rule alleged that he and his friends beat up 50 while the others watched. However, Black Child remembers it even more theatrically, telling Vlad TV, "Me and Ya chased him through the lobby and S***T. While the results can be amusing, more often than not those problems lead to frustration. And the elevator doors close just in time." According to XXL, 50 Cent claimed that Ja Rule lost a necklace pendant during the fight, which was snatched up by one of 50's guys and swapped for a Movado watch. However, Ja Rule denied this particular allegation. Was Ja Rule involved in the stabbing of 50 Cent? Shortly after the 2000 incident in Atlanta, Ja Rule and 50 Cent came together once again, this time in New York City at the Hit Factory recording studio. Rockstar has been diligent in releasing patches, though considering how the platform had such a rocky start, one must wonder if the company launched GTA Online before it was fully baked. Right off the bat, gamers anxious to get going with GTA Online were disappointed by the abundance of issues, including loading timeouts, getting stuck in tutorial races, disconnections, instant mission fails, and more. Another major problem resulted in the loss of player data. As producer Gotti later told Vlad TV, Ya, who was on crutches at the time, reportedly found out 50 was in the building and was determined to confront him. This included everything from money, rank, and, for some less fortunate players, even an entire character. "We have about 40, 50 guys with us," Gotti said. In addition to patches, Rockstar attempted to ease the problem by offering some fairly specific workarounds. The company had anticipated issues at launch due to projected user traffic, which is even more reason why it needed to get its act together before releasing this service to the public. "We went looking for him in the studio. The result, per the New York Times, was 50 Cent suffering cuts and stab wounds to his back. Gotti and his brother, Irv Gotti, aka the CEOs of Ya Rule's Murder Inc. record label, were each charged with gang assault and first-degree assault. Despite the early challenges it faced, Rockstar has managed to achieve unprecedented success with GTA Online. Poor representation of female characters. Diversity and representation are critically important, and both play essential roles in the arts. Meanwhile, rapper Black Child confessed to stabbing 50 in the back, but claimed it was in self-defense. Art can convey powerful messages, influencing individuals in ways nothing else can. Per Complex, the charges were later dismissed. For his part, 50 Cent claimed that he didn't even go to the hospital afterward, though he later received 3 stitches from the attack. Meanwhile, the New York Times reported that 50 obtained an order of protection against his assailants afterward, which put a dent in his street credibility. According to XXL, however, the paperwork was simply a formality put forth by the NYPD. While Ja Rule wasn't technically present for the incident, it definitely didn't help this ongoing feud, with the rappers each releasing diss tracks, including Ja's Race Against Time 2, and 50 Cent's Back Down. Ja Rule was charged with assault in Toronto in June 2004. Ja Rule was at a nightclub in Toronto when a group of patrons formed near him and began shouting derogatory statements about his already infamous feud with 50 Cent, per USA Today. Becoming frustrated with the crowd, Ya allegedly punched a man in his face. He was charged and subsequently released on $10,000 CAD bail. The victim received a black eye and cuts. Early the following year, Ja Rule pleaded guilty to assault and received a $1,200 fine. Most agree video games should be regarded as art, and while the Grand Theft Auto series' artistic merits may be questionable, the games can still have an effect on players' perspectives, even in a subtle way. The GTA series has a track record of portraying female characters in a poor light. "I'm just sorry about my actions," he told reporters after his court appearance. The judge also apologized that day, saying that the comments that some patrons allegedly yelled were disgraceful and an embarrassment for the Canadian city. However, according to the man who was punched, Sandeep Gurwal Singh, he wasn't even one of the people yelling at the rapper, but was rather simply a bystander, who was punched and thrown to the ground and down a flight of stairs, as per his civil suit via E-News. Even when justifying the game's tone as that of satire, the representation of women in Grand Theft Auto V has made many uncomfortable. Serving as strippers, prostitutes, and insignificant side characters, outlets like The Telegraph suggest the women in the game were made to be objects for the male-dominated cast. One solution gamers have suggested is to offer a female protagonist in the next installment. According to Grantland's Molly Lambert, Rockstar's decision to exclude female playable characters suggests women can't be criminals in the same way as their male counterparts, perpetuating inequality. Perhaps the company can make more progressive strides with GTA 6 and finally introduce a female character to take the lead. Online saving fail. If all the previously mentioned issues with GTA Online weren't enough, gamers also get to experience that dreadful, saving failed, message. As a result of the attack, Gurwal Singh claimed he suffered severe physical and emotional shock to the system, and was permanently injured. He also alleged that he experienced massive tearing, ripping and damage to his muscles, tendons, nerves, ligaments, blood vessels and skeletal structure, and still feels nervous going out, years after the assault. Was Ja Rule involved in a revenge plot? A December 2004 party held for Ja Rule at a club in Midtown New York turned bloody when a man was shot and killed and another wounded in the after hours. Believe it or not, this problem persisted many years after GTA Online's launch, leaving the possibility of such a failure looming at every moment. It threatens to vanquish your unsaved progress and earnings, whether playing by yourself or with others. According to the New York Post, investigators were initially pointed in the direction of the rapper and his bodyguards after they spoke to the surviving victim, Troy Moore. While the possible motive seemed a little unclear, it was suggested that the shooting may have been related to another crime. And being entirely at the mercy of the Internet and Rockstar's servers, there isn't much that can be done to prevent this message from appearing. At the very least, auto-save happens at fairly regular intervals, so you likely won't lose all of your progress. Sometimes you can wait out the error, however, you may want to log out until the issue is resolved to prevent any further unsaved progress. Of course, if you're looking for a workaround, you may be able to trigger an autosave by initiating a police chase, then successfully shaking them off your tail. While it may be tough for servers to keep up with all the user traffic, Rockstar could definitely stand to improve the experience, considering its continued financial success with GTA Online. The gift that keeps on giving. What could possibly be wrong with free money? How could this in any way be a bad decision on Rockstar's part? Well, you'd better believe it, because the company screwed this one up as well. In April 2020, Rockstar offered its users a one-time login bonus of $500,000, but considering how glitchy GTA Online can be, something was bound to go wrong. Moore and the man who died, Willie "Bang Bang" Clark, both previously served time behind bars and were the rumored suspects of a string of robberies, including one on rapper Foxy Brown's brother. Investigators may have believed that Ja Rule's bodyguards were acting in revenge for the robberies, or in anger for bringing that kind of heat to the rapper's party. Ja was, after all, friends with Foxy Brown and her brother, Pretty Boy, at the time. Regardless of the reason, investigators allegedly possessed surveillance footage, which showed Ja Rule's vehicle stop outside the club after Moore and Clark walked past it. And indeed it did. One of the rapper's bodyguards was seen approaching the car. Some lucky players were surprised with multiple login bonuses, receiving as many as three $500,000 deposits. "Come with me, it's coming down," the reportedly bodyguard said, before another bodyguard exited the vehicle, and the two men from Ja Rule's security team apparently shot Moore and Clark. A Dancer's Tell-All book detailed an alleged affair with Ja Rule in her 2005 book, Confessions of a Video Vixen. Karine Steffens dropped quite a few scandalous bombshells on the music industry. But encountering a congratulatory message for the free bonus did not always yield the promised prize. The former video dancer revealed that she had sexual affairs with a slew of big-name celebrities, many of them in relationships with other women at the time. According to the book, she was even married to hip-hop pioneer, Kool G Rap, but it was her alleged time with Ja Rule that impacted her most. After the thing was over with Ya, I think I went a little crazy searching for his replacement, Steffens wrote via the New York Times. And while fortune may have smiled upon some users, others were not so lucky. Those less fortunate gamers were not granted even their first bonus, creating an unfair playing field. Once something was over with one of them, even if it ended horribly, that would only make me want to regain what I thought I had. But Ja Rule, who had been in a relationship with the same woman since high school, denied Steffens' allegations. Perhaps the players who were blessed with multiple payments received them at the expense of those who gained nothing. During a 2013 Hip Hollywood interview, the rapper guessed at Steffens' motives, claiming, "I'm a target for fallacious women that want to not see me and my wife happy." Ya added, "So they'll make up stories and do whatever they have to do to sell books, or be on TV shows." Whatever the case may be, you can add this bug to the long list of problems with Rockstar's online service for Grand Theft Auto 5. Giving GTA 5 away for free. When it comes to GTA 5, it seems Rockstar has embodied the saying, "No good deed goes unpunished." The company tries to do some good, yet the gesture backfires. And it all started when the Epic Games Store offered Grand Theft Auto 5 for free. What may have been a dream come true for some turned into a nightmare for many others, as free downloads of GTA 5 opened the door for hackers galore. They'll take a small situation and make it something that's so much bigger than what it is. Lil Mo puts it on Ja Rule. In the early 2000s, Lil Mo and Ja Rule collaborated to make two massive hits, I Cry, and Put It On Me. While they were two of the biggest songs of Ja Rule's career at that point, Lil Mo then turned that success into records with artists like Jay-Z and the late Tupac. And though its online platform has always been susceptible to hacking, the problem has grown significantly since the free release. Some mods can be harmless and amusing, but others can ruin a player's experience entirely, including game-crashing mods, the ability to trap other players, and even bothering users who just want to enjoy themselves in single-player modes. Once again, Rockstar failed to regulate its Wild West of an online platform, leaving gamers vulnerable to an unpredictable experience. However, the singer didn't look back too fondly on her dealings with Ya. Two hit record smashes, Lil Mo said in an interview with MTV News. Those two records ruled 2001. The company has taken ownership and responsibility in the past to clean up its mess, but it seems to be a recurring theme with Grand Theft Auto 5. Requiring an internet connection to play single player. Sometimes you just want to kick back, relax, and enjoy a nice, peaceful single-player experience that isn't plagued by all the bugs that come along with Grand Theft Auto Online. The whole world knows that. Not only did she claim that she wasn't paid for her contributions, but that she didn't even get a proper recognition. "I helped that brother sell 3 million records, and I don't have a plaque for the Rule 336 album. But for a time, you even had to connect to the internet to play single-player portion of GTA 5 by yourself." Following the lead of other major gaming publishers, Rockstar introduced its own launcher in 2019 as a way to maximize profits on its digital sales. "I did, parking lot pimpin', and Jay-Z sent me a plaque for every song he's done, a thank you card and a bottle of Chris." In 2005, Lil Mo decided to file a lawsuit against Ja Rule, Murder Inc. Records, and Def Jam for $15 million. While speaking with All Hip Hop, she claimed that she owns 10% of Put It On Me, saying, "This is beyond personal, this is business. This is my livelihood as an artist." Soon after the Rockstar Games launcher went live, yet another bug made its way into the single-player game, which forced users to connect to the internet anytime they wanted to play solo. Rockstar did fix this issue, however, it did not untether gamers from an internet connection entirely. "We don't make money until the label makes money, so as a songwriter that was a part of my career that I was supposed to receive a substantial amount of money." Luckily, Lil Mo and Ja Rule did later reconcile and release another song together. Ja Rule spent time in prison over weapons and taxes. In July 2007, Ja Rule joined Lil Wayne on stage during a concert in Manhattan. Although you can technically play single-player offline, the game has to open through the launcher, which does need internet access. So yeah, it would appear you're still going to have to be plugged in if you want to play single-player GTA 5. Thanks Rockstar. GTA Online is ruining the base game. Some fans of the series may remember fondly the days before Grand Theft Auto Online took center stage. Later that evening, Ya was pulled over for speeding. Per CNN, police then found, hidden in the backseat of his Maybach, a loaded firearm with the serial number scratched off.
According to MTV News, the rapper pleaded guilty to attempted criminal possession of a weapon, and was sentenced to 2 years in prison in 2010. While serving that time, Ja Rule was hit with tax evasion charges. Sure, GTA Online brought new levels of success to the series, making Rockstar obscene amounts of money, but there are some aspects of the online experience that just don't live up to the simplicity of the base game. With a growing hacker problem, gamers can no longer turn to their single-player campaign for safety, and Rockstar is limited in its effectiveness against these devious trolls. But the issue goes even deeper than those crafty users spoiling everyone else's fun. There's an element of grinding involved in the online landscape that can turn off some gamers who just want to enjoy GTA's story. When you engage in activities like business ventures, you'll begin to feel the game becomes repetitive. Fox News reports that the rapper admitted to failing to pay taxes on over $3 million in earnings from 2004 to 2006. The base game, on the other hand, offers the kind of immersion and fine details you simply won't see in GTA Online. While there might be a ton to do, after a while you may grow tired of repeating similar missions and objectives. And now that Rockstar has shifted all its focus on GTA Online, the community no longer sees new story content. Alien invasion in GTA 5. There's a war raging in the GTA community, one that is out of this world. And in a game where anything goes, it was only a matter of time before alien antics exploded onto the scene. With the Arena Wars edition several years ago, Rockstar added skin-tight alien costumes to its apparel catalog. In May of 2020, a bizarre trend surfaced where gangs of trouble causing players wearing green extraterrestrial suits banded together to unleash random acts of chaos upon innocent gamers. What began as a simple unified act of delinquency broke out into an all-out war after a faction of purple aliens appeared to fight back, mostly to defend users from the green aliens. As a result, he was sentenced to 28 months in prison, most of which could be completed while serving his previous sentence. Whatever the case may be, if you haven't aligned yourself with a side, you may want to stay out of their way, lest you get caught in the crossfire. If that's not enough trouble, it would appear as though Rockstar fed the madness by briefly offering the once pricey outfits for free and discounting its laser weapons. While addressing the court before his second sentencing, Ja Rule said, "I in no way attempted to deceive the government or do anything illegal. Tisk tisk Rockstar, you should know better than to encourage this type of behavior. I was a young man who made a lot of money. I'm getting a little choked up. I didn't know how to deal with these finances, and I didn't have people to guide me, so I made mistakes." In February 2013, just 20 months into his 2-year gun charge sentence, Ja Rule was released from prison, allowed to finish the remaining time left on his tax evasion sentence on house arrest. Ja Rule's involvement in a sketchy credit card service in 2015, Ja Rule joined CEO Billy McFarland to help promote Magnesis, an exclusive black card with special perks and VIP access for millennials, per Nylon. The rapper was named creative head and spokesman for the company. "We all have eyes, but not everyone has vision," he told the outlet of his business venture. "But it is amusing, so perhaps you deserve some slack on this one. Taking so long to implement first-person view in a video game universe that's as immersive as Grand Theft Auto, you would think an option for first-person view would have made sense long ago. You have to have that vision to see what's going to be hot tomorrow." But Rockstar didn't seem to have the foresight to offer such an obvious feature until Grand Theft Auto 5. I think that's what makes people great, being able to see what the public needs and wants tomorrow, not today. The card first opened for members in New York, then expanded into other states across the country. And not even upon its release. Fans of the series had to settle for a third-person-only game if they bought GTA 5 for PS3 or Xbox 360, though a year later when it was ported over to the next console generation, Rockstar finally added first-person perspective. Why the long wait? GTA 5 animation director Rob Nelson credited the lack of first-person functionality in the initial release to a lack of time and hardware capacity. He and his team wanted to make sure all the in-game graphics were up to snuff so it would pass the test as players got up close and personal from a first-person perspective. So essentially, it was perfectionism that kept Xbox 360 and PS3 users from enjoying this feature. But even beyond Grand Theft Auto 5, one must wonder where the first-person view was for all the other games in the series.
Online matches take too long to load when you're settling in for a nice relaxing night of gaming with friends and strangers across the net. The last thing you want to do is waste time waiting for your game to load. But if you frequent Grand Theft Auto Online, you're no stranger to long loading periods. For some, having to wait for a game to load can be enough to ruin the experience entirely. PC Gamer's Chris Livingston expresses how detrimental the whole process is to his enjoyment of GTA Online. According to Fortune, for $250 per year, members would gain entry to exclusive celebrity events, a concierge service to score hard-to-get concert tickets and restaurant reservations, and access to a swanky, shared hangout pad. While the black card only duplicates a member's actual credit card, it allows them to swipe with style. Magnusis claimed to grow from 1,200 members in 2014 to 100,000 in 2016, but the company's WeFunder page only listed 10,000 members. Having to wait for a long duration until the connection times out, dropping him into single-player briefly, then returning him to online after finally connecting has pretty much turned him off to a multiplayer arena he otherwise enjoys. Rockstar took note and released a patch to improve sluggish load times, but it hasn't fixed the issue entirely. According to an article on Gamer Journalist published in May of 2020, users were experiencing extreme wait times once again. How the company made money was also a mystery. The WeFunder page alleged it was mostly funded by membership fees, but a member of the Magnusis management team said it was fueled primarily by branded events. In some cases, the game would fail to load entirely. In the end, members began to complain about broken promises, overcharges, and bad business dealings, per Fortune. Magnusis earned an F grade with the Better Business Bureau and finally collapsed alongside the catastrophic Fire Festival. Ja Rule was burnt by the Fire Festival. Magnusis CEO Billy McFarland told Rolling Stone that the plan for the ill-fated Fire Festival was hatched in early 2016 by himself and his business partner, Ja Rule. Much of the slowdown then was understandably caused by increased traffic from the Epic Games Store's free GTA 5 giveaway. It all sounded amazing. They shot a beautiful promotional video that featured the likes of Bella Hadid and Emily Ratajkowski, promising, per L, yoga on the beach, water trampolines, seabobbing, music, art, food and $1 million of real treasure and jewels hidden around the island. The event also had a slick list of musical acts lined up, including Lil Yachty, Blink-182, and Migos. What guests got, however, was something much less than promised. Not long before the event's highly anticipated start in April 2017, The Wall Street Journal warned that some musical acts were not yet paid and guests were worried about the lack of communication. According to Billboard, flights full of paying guests, $1,200 per guest, headed to Exumas were delayed then cancelled. Reports from players, however, suggest that loading times are still hit or miss to this day. Those who did make it to the island were met with disaster tent setups, given little support, and fed with cheese on bread. Speaking with Rolling Stone, McFarland said, "We were a little naive in thinking for the first time we could do this ourselves. Next year, we will definitely start earlier." By the following year, however, McFarland was slammed with a $100 million lawsuit and sentenced to 6 years in prison for fraud. His partner, Ja Rule, was deemed ignorant of the festival's wrongdoings in July 2019.